Welcome back, guys. You're live here with House Party 5v5. It's the Premier League semifinals here for our Premier League action. We're down to 4 teams left. We started out with 10. Now we're down to 4. Of those 4, only 2 are going to make it past this week's festivities to go on to play in the grand final 2 weeks from now. Now, the teams we're currently seeing going head-to-head are the 3rd and 2nd place teams. That's Industrious Gaming over here in the blue versus Never Clucky in the red. Never Clucky had an absolutely dominating performance in game number 1 of this best-of-3 series. They took it home in just under 27 minutes off the back of their 80 carry, just playing out of his mind. The entire team played really well, and IG has got to come in with a more coherent plan for this game if they don't want to be sent home packing. Once again, House Party 5v5 is not a forgiving mistress. We do not have a loser's bracket. We do not have double elimination. Once you're down, you're out. If IG drops this game, it's all over, and Never Clucky's going to the finals. I'm Captain Flowers here in the casting desk, joined by Fury Golem. And Fury, if you're IG, how do you get back in this one? How do you secure this win?
Well, if I were IG, I'd ban Rammus, which they did, so apparently I am IG. The thing that is, they still left up the Callista. However, Poppy's in the game. They pick up Poppy. Poppy is a great way to deal with just about anyone who's hippity-hoppity. Slam them into a wall, knock them into the ground. Unfortunately, by banning Rammus, they're no longer banning Nautilus. And so Nautilus is going to be probably picked up by Never Clucky. That is a really strong champion. Poppy for Nautilus, honestly, both of those champions are really, really strong top laners. I couldn't say between the two which of them gets the better end of that OP pick trade.
All right, so once again, I'm dealing with the problem of not being able to see what's locked in as it's locked in. I got to watch it on the same delay of the stream that everybody else has to watch it on. So it looks like we're going to see Nautilus locked in. Of course, Fury can see this right now. Oh, we're not going to see that locked in. See, this is the worst thing. This is the worst thing is I got to guess and check now, looking at the stream, seeing what's actually happening. We will see the Callista locked in. Braga's going to be picked up as well, a very powerful, very versatile, lot of utility jungler. And we already saw what Talisman's able to do on Callista. What is IG going to pick to answer this? Because they've got to find something.
And so they don't have the Gragas anymore. Last game, IG ran Gragas. This game, Never Clucky is picking him up. Apparently, they still want the Lucian matchup into the Callista. So this is going to be, they're going to have to change something up with their supports. They can't do the same thing they did last time because they had no response to that Callista.
And that's what they're going to have to find. Because that Callista just went completely off last time. And it wasn't just Callista. It wasn't just we picked bad champions into this certain matchup. It was Talisman knowing how to play the thing immaculately. You even commented on his ability in the lane when there were ganks happening and 3v3s and 4v4s and all this crazy stuff going down. His ability to stay alive, to sidestep and utilize that passive to its maximum effectiveness, and maximum efficiency, if effectiveness isn't a word. The guy's awesome on Callista. They've got to find something to shut him down. And Lucian is going to be picked up once more. Hopefully they've got a little bit better of a plan, like you said, in terms of supports, because Lucian Braum just was not making the cut.
Talisman and Holy Goose waiting to the last moment here to pick up their champions for the team. Whoa!
I wish I could react with you, but I can't because I can't see
It's Nami and Lulu. What? Okay, so that's obviously Nami support, Lulu top, or Lulu middle. Could be either. It's been so long since I've seen Nami. Nami is a really, really great pickup if you know what you're doing with her. I would even go so far as to say if you're a really good Nami, you are superior at peel to a Braum. Her ability to keep people off of her 80 carry and empower that champion is virtually unparalleled. She's kind of like a combination between Braum and Janna, but she's much more mechanically difficult than either of those champions, and much more mechanically rewarding if you pull her off. She works much the same way that Callista does, which is if you don't have specifically Nami mechanics or specifically Callista mechanics, you're going to be garbage. But if you do, you can pull off some really sick combinations. That said, if you're going to pick a single champion to destroy an 80 carry that you can't handle, Vi is the pick of choice. All you have to do is just R that champion, slam him into the ground, keep him locked down, do plenty of burst, follow that up with Lissandra ultimate. Talisman is not going to have nearly as much freedom this game to go hippity-hoppiting all over the place. No, indeed.
Now, the nice part is as well, last time we saw Talisman pick up a 3rd item, QSS into Mercurial Scimitar, wanted to make sure he didn't get locked down. But the CC he's facing this time around, it's not exactly something QSS is going to be the greatest thing again. Fully Noided Steadfast Presence is going to block him from hopping. You don't press QSS and stop it from blocking you. You're going to have Lord Merc ulting him. Once again, QSS not going to do the trick. And Gordon Ramsay's ultimate throwing him up into the air. QSS isn't going to work. So they've got plenty of tools to actually address him this time, and it all comes down to how well they're able to execute.
On the other hand, he's got a Lulu, a Nami, a Shen, and a Gragas for Peel. This is like a Kog'Maw hypercarry comp, but with Kalista instead. Don't get me wrong, Talisman played great last game, but there is a serious dearth of damage for Neverclucky this time around. Last time, Rammus and Ahri aren't the highest damage champions in the game, but they both put out fairly consistently. Not so much Shen. New Shen does more damage than old Shen, but only by a little bit.
Yeah, the Kalista hypercarry comp's a little bit of a different take on that. Normally you'd see it with a Vayne, you'd see it with a Kog'Maw, something that just chews through an entire enemy team on their own. And granted, any AD carry can chew through an entire enemy team on their own if they end up 9-1 or whatever Talisman was at the end of last game. 6-1, excuse me, I had the first number flipped up and down. So Talisman, he's going to have to perform out of his mind once more to be able to supply the damage his team needs to win these fights, especially when you're up against Fully Noided on the Poppy. Poppy is a disgustingly tanky champion. With the extra armor and magic resistance she gets from the passive on Steadfast Presence, with the fact that she's able to build a lot of tanky items and still do damage anyway, that champion takes so much effort just to bring down that for a low damage comp like what Clucky brought to the table, Noided's pretty much going to have no worries of dying ever, provided he's able to prevent himself from falling behind.
This is just going to be a straight up matchup of everyone on IG piles on Talisman, and then everyone on Neverclucky also piles on Talisman. This guy is a one-man crux for all 10 of these champions. They are all going to be just eyes on this guy all game. If he plays like last game, that could work out, but this would be a really terrible time to mess up. When this much pressure is on you, they win this game, they go to finals, they lose this game, they have to play a third.
And that really is the story of game number 2 here. Neverclucky's sitting pretty. You drop this game, you go to game number 3, that's where everything's on the line. For IG, it's do or die. They've got to be able to shut this Kalista down. There is no, well, I guess we'll try again later, because it's all at the end now. One more loss, and they're done for. This win has to happen. They've got to make sure they're in the right frame of mind. They've got to make sure they're consistently looking for ways to win this game and take that Kalista out. That's got to be their end game. That's got to be their bottom line every single time, is what do we do to put Talisman in the dirt?
If IG was going to win a game, this would be the game. I mean, they have drafted a very slick composition that should be able to deal with Talisman. However, at the end of their last game, we saw them tilt a little bit. You know, Fully Noided walking forward, eating that Charmander tower, and that ended the game. That won the game for Neverclucky. So IG has to make sure to not carry that little bit of defeated tilt over into this game. If they can start off, take a deep breath, relax their way through the loading screen, and then bring their A game once they're actually in, forget last game, just ignore whatever happened there and deal with this game as it moves along, that's where they've got to come from, because tilt would be so bad for them right now.
And that's a huge thing that factors into best of threes. And that's why I honestly love playoffs compared to regular season.
Right.
Best of ones, you know, it's still League of Legends, it's still fun to watch, it's still competitive, you still have some amazing games. But best of threes really brings this whole new element where teams have to adapt not only to each other's play styles, but to their own mental endurance in between the games. Games like that last one are hard to lose, and IG's got to make sure they stay razor sharp and focused in order to come back and keep themselves afloat in this one. We're 5 seconds away from launching in. Stick with us, everybody. It's Premier League semifinals, IG versus Neverclucky. We'll be live momentarily. All right, we're back. We're on Summoner's Rift for the second time today, and we're not starting off with a pause. That's going to be a good omen. You're here with House Party 5v5 Premier League semifinals. It's IG in the blue versus Never Clucky in the red. Clucky is up 1-0 in a best-of-3 series. And in case you're just now joining in the past 10 seconds, in case you don't realize exactly what that means, IG's got to pick up the win. If Clucky takes this one, they're going all the way to the finals, and IG's going home. I'm Captain Flowers here in the casting desk, joined by Fury Golem. And Fury, if you're IG, what's the game plan?
Pick Debonair Vi. I finally found someone besides me who likes that skin. This game's already made for me. Let's go. But in all seriousness, IG, we've talked about it. It's kill the talisman. I mean, break even in lane. Honestly, Poppy should be able to do that. Fully noited. He's a good player. And he had a bad game last game up against the Rammus, but they banned the Rammus out. They've got a Poppy into a Shen. That is something a Poppy should be able to deal with. He should be able to come out of lane strong, particularly if he gets some ganks from Gordon Ramsay. Vi, a very strong ganker, if she doesn't opt to go bot lane, could help get him ahead. This is going to be, I think, the most exciting game. Last game was good, don't get me wrong. Even if we go to third game, even if IG wins this, I think this is the pivotal game. It is the middle game. It is the game where IG have to reclaim their hope, reclaim their faith in themselves. While this is all about Never Clucky doing exactly what they did last time. They have to just perform around Talisman.
IG having that Poppy in the top lane. Now, last time I talked about how they picked the carry top laner. They picked the Fiora. They picked a champion with zero presence when she's behind. And, of course, when she fell behind, she didn't do anything. Now they've got Poppy. Even if Poppy gets herself behind, she's going to build tankier. She's going to provide utility to the team. She can stun people into the ball, block those dashes with steadfast presence. And speaking of dashes, Nairb, Never, Talisman, all have dashes. All those can be blocked by the power of the Poppy, so Noited is always going to be useful in these fights, even if he falls a little bit behind. Naturally, you don't want to see your top laner end up 0-7 or something ridiculous, but if he starts off with a little bit of a negative experience here in the top lane, it's not going to cripple him like it would on Fiora.
And it's not bad so far, being able to put down plenty of poke on Nairb even at this early stage, hit to level 2 at the same time, should be able to do plenty, not going to get bossed around early on, which, frankly, both of these champions don't perform particularly well early on. They need all of their abilities in order to fight well. They are going to sort of gentleman's agreement farm it up, but Shen has been having a little bit of a hard time on those last hits. He's been able to get to the champions, but he's been mistiming it a little bit, so he is going to come in behind on that oh-so-important CS counter.
Talisman on Callista. Once again, this is going to be the lane to look out for, because although the supports are different this time around, it's still a similar strategy being played when you look at how things are going to go. You've got this pokey, sustainy style support coming out from S Angel Nami compared to the Janna of last time, while Prez is once again going with that beefier package. He's going with the Nautilus. He's going to go for that all-in potential, that CC lockdown, and we'll have to see if it goes better than it did last time, because last time it did not show up the way they wanted it to.
I think it will. I think IG has picked a much better comp this time. Last time, Talisman's Callista, he played it very, very well. Don't get me wrong. I'm calling out those crazy good Callista mechanics. But there are answers now on IG's team. Before, all they had was kite back, peel, and pray they overextend. This time, they've got a whole lot of engage. Every champion on their team except Merc is an engaged champion. They can make a play off of anyone catching Talisman out of position, and ganks from Gordon Ramsay plus a hook from Prez V2 could mean the death of Callista during the laning phase. So Talisman has to play a lot more cautiously this time, and there's a lot more opportunities for IG to make the plays that would keep him down.
Speaking of opportunities, Nairb's running out of those here in the top lane. The guy's down to 200 HP. He's got no sustain left. Starting with Doran's Shield. Now, I've never been a fan of this item in general, unless you're playing a 100% passive lane and you just want it, I guess, for some sort of sustain, whatever. The item gives you health regen and damage block. You're supposed to use it to sustain through stuff, but you're only able to buy one potion. It just never seems like a good pickup to me, and we're showing us Fully Noid is able to take over the lane. Exactly why that doesn't work. 30 CS compared to 13.
Well, to be fair, Fully Noited is playing Poppy, who is a heinous early trader, whereas Shen's really better at coming in later in the game and trading better then. He has to scale up. even more so than Old Shen. Old Shen could like CS and heal with his Q. New Shen, he has to have his items. He has to have an item or two under his belt before he starts becoming relevant. Otherwise, he just gets beat up. Even so, he has managed to sustain himself up past half health. He's down 17 CS, which is just brutal at this point in the game. Fully Noted going in.
Absolutely. Doran's shield is not doing him any favors. The CS discrepancy in the top lane and in the jungle is bringing a 700 gold lead to IG despite no kills being on the board, no objectives being on the board. These guys are just passively getting that far ahead, and Talisman and Angel are not able to bully around this bot lane like they did last time.
Vi has a lot of weaknesses as a jungler, which is why you don't see her so much in the meta right now, but she is a very good champion, and one of the things that she does pretty well is have good early clear times, particularly now with the recent buffs to her E. Lower cooldown, lower mana cost, able to spam that to clear out those waves faster. AoE damage, so important in the jungle, as well as auto attack resets at the same time. Everything a jungler could want, she's got. So right now, her ability to clear jungle is very strong.
Prez and Merc are once again on their back foot here in the bottom lane. But there's a big difference between the way they're positioned on that foot this time compared to what they were last time. Last time they were completely under the turret, all the way behind the damn thing, trying to get close enough to the minions to shoot them without Talisman putting 2 or 3 spears in them. Now they're close to the turret. Yeah, they don't have control in the lane. They're not commanding the tempo. But at the same time, Merc's actually up in terms of farm. He's not running for his life cowering behind the turret because Talisman's so far ahead, and that's exactly what IG's looking for.
I think last game, Merc and Prez got a little got a little married to the idea that they were the lane bullies and that they had to be able to fight, and so they took several unfavorable trades, and once they did that, it was all over but the crying. This time around, they know that Talisman has got the mechanics to be able to ensure that he is able to bully just as well against a Lucian. And so now the Lucian's playing a little bit safer, and it's translating into even or slightly ahead in farm. Good job by them to recognize that they're not as high on the food chain as they thought they were, and to play appropriately.
Nerb and Fully Noided, both up to level 6, looking to get into that 1v1. Fully's trying to slam him around. The shields are popping up left, right, and center. Now, one thing Nerb has to be careful about is when he tries to use Stand United, Gordon Ramsay here in the bot lane looks to come in with that Vault Breaker. Won't do anything with it, though, thanks to a very quick flash coming down from Talisman. Exhaust used by Angel as well. Although Gordon's not able to actually get the gank off, he still blows the summoners and might be able to set up something for the future.
Those are two very important summoners. Lord Merc and Prez V2, they've been pushed up on that food chain. They're going to be able to play much more aggressively, and there they go.
There they go. Prez might be in some trouble, though. Pop the shield to get himself away. Angel using the tidal wave as well. Holy Goose and Splash, 1v1 here in the mid lane. Won't exactly go anywhere. Talisman in hot pursuit looking to make this one happen. Is he able to do it? Gordon Ramsay's going to show up in case they chase this one a little bit too deep, but they're not going to bite onto that. And Fully Noided and his opponent Nerb, once again in the top side, just farming up those creeps. 60-38 in terms of CS. Nerb staunched the bleeding from before, but he hasn't done anything to catch up.
No, indeed. He is 22 CS behind. That gap still growing a little bit, not as much as before. He does have that Sunfire Cape, enabling him to be a little bit more of a threat against his opponent, as well able to pick up that dodge ability, which is so important in the trades top lane. But it only does so much. Even if he can block the Poppy poke with his shield, he's still not able to take her in a straight-up fight. Oh, but he thinks he can.
Fully Noided with the quick fingers blocking the taunt with Steadfast Presence. And we're 9 minutes into this game. Nobody's dead still. Gordon Ramsay tried to make an impact. I haven't seen Never Frown really look to do anything so far on Gragas. And on a champion that's got so much powerful ganking potential, I'm kind of surprised.
Especially since he's not an exceptionally good farmer. As we're seeing here, zero pressure by him. He's actually been out-pressured by Gordon Ramsay, and Gordon Ramsay's 13 CS up on him. That's not a good place to be. It's a terrible place to be, in fact, as a jungler. But like we've said before, he is a support playing in for a jungler, so mostly his job is to farm up and stay alive. Any ganks he gets in are gravy. He is a substitute trying to hold his own. He can't be expected to make the same plays as a dedicated jungler.
Now IG's up almost 1,000 gold compared to their opponents. No advantage other than their natural farm advantages. 12 up in the jungle, 22 up in the top lane, actually 6 down in mid, and Lord Merc is up 10 here in the bottom lane as well. Talisman not able to get off to that explosive start that he did last time, and considering he is the damage, like we talked about in the lobby, this is the guy that this entire team revolves around. This is a pretty good spot for IG to be in.
This is pretty much where I would expect it to be. There's no kill pressure for any of the lanes that Never Clucky has drafted, aside from Talisman's, and the only kill pressure here is because Talisman plays so well. And this game, it hasn't quite been there. Yeah, he's still a good Kalista player, but it's not quite as magical without his opponents underestimating his abilities. You can only get so fed if your opponents aren't willing to feed you.
Fight might break out here in the bottom lane once more. Gordon Ramsay used his flash to gank last time, and Talisman flashed to get away from it. So he knows that those cooldowns are pretty much linked up. Gordon Ramsay's still got plenty of time to make this gank happen with no flash available for Talisman, and that's what they want to potentially set up. Gordon's just going to go get himself back, realizes that one's not going to play out into anything. Angel looking for some poke, Talisman doing the same, but there's just no opportunity. All these guys, both these teams are playing so very safe, they're not allowing their opponents to capitalize on any mistakes because no mistakes are being made.
Nautilus support is one of those funny champions. Later on in the game, he can scale well if he's handed a lot of gold, but most of the value in a Nautilus is his early game ability to beat people up. His base damage numbers, even post-nerf, are very, very high. There he goes, in on Talisman, hit that guy up pretty good.
Talisman eats some damage, but so does Prez. Bubble into wave. Prez being juggled all over the place. He might be a big daddy, but the ocean is not being kind. Angel eating a whole lot of bullets coming out from Merc. Talisman gets him away, using the power of the ultimate. Stand United from Nerb looking to come down as well. Fully noited channels TP and brings himself into the fight. Nerb trying to find the taunt onto Merc. Won't be able to do it. Slammed into the wall in retaliation. He's got the shield. The buckler won't be picked up. Everybody disengages this one, despite the fact the health bars get low. 12 minutes in, and still no blood.
And Ramsey's going mid.
Ramsey here in the mid lane might make me a liar yet. Holy Goose trying to get himself away from this one. Wild Growth pop, splash, and Gordon Ramsay in hot pursuit trying to make this one happen. Glitterlance comes down. And nope, I get excited for no reason whatsoever. He walks away.
Gordon Ramsay still wants this a little bit, but Holy Goose, Splashronomical is low, so he's not the best support to come in on the side, and Holy Goose is, even with his ult down, is a dangerous champion to die.
Fight bot lane, Nerb looking to slam Prez up all over the place. Here comes the lockdown. Nerb's in a whole lot of trouble. He's only able to use Spirit's Refuge to block so much damage. Getting away under the turret, he's able to survive. Fully noited, looking like a pincushion. The turret's almost able to take him down. Oh my lord, they're not quite able to find it until there comes the cast. First blood goes onto the Grogan. Talisman about to fall, won't quite die. Splash accidentally suicides himself, almost getting Talisman. Close but no cigar, just like Graves, sir. That is not what you want to see. And Talisman is able to get himself away, find a 1-0-1 score spread, and now Never Clucky is up 700 gold.
There's kind of that tilt we were worried about from Fully Noited. He ate a charm that he shouldn't have at the end of last game, and that was a definite overcommit onto Nerb. Yeah, they almost got him down. That's diving under tower against 3 people. That is a very dangerous proposition, especially when one of them is absolutely the champion you do not want to feed. Even though he's been down in CS all game, this is now a 1-0-1 Talisman with a 3 CS lead over Lord Merc. Yeah, that's not exactly a huge CS lead. In fact, it's about as small as it gets. But still, that is a whole lot of power. He's got his Ruined Kings up against the Lucian, who has not yet completed an item, obviously going for that Essence Reaver, but he's not there yet.
That is what Clucky needed. Like I said, we were seeing IG pull a little bit ahead, just passively. Clucky answers, they're able to find the punishment onto IG's little bit over-aggressive play, and the fact that they weren't able to grab Talisman there, the fact that that Gragas barrel was able to connect and find the first blood, things just didn't come up IG's way, and they got to make sure they don't keep having things end up like that. Those small mistakes are just eventually going to pile up into a big enough mountain that Never Clucky's able to utilize them.
And the gap in top lane is still basically the same as it was. 19 CS at the moment, about to be a little bit more. Nerb is still holding his own up here against the Poppy. You'd want a little bit more bully pressure from a Poppy than that, especially when it's a Shen she's up against. But even so, neither of these champions are going to fall behind on that. They'd have to lose out in experience before they'd have to worry about being behind in the game. They're going to be able to provide plenty of that tank, plenty of that utility for their teams. But the solo on Dragon by Vi going to pick it up for IG.
Gordon Ramsay, you sneaky dog, you picking that one up underneath the nose of Never Clucky. They're not even able to see it happening, and that's going to be a nice little damage bonus going the way of IG. Still down 0-2, still only 700 gold separating these teams. Still 15 minutes in and no turrets to be found. Talisman going to throw Angel in there, looking to fight on to Prez and Lord Merc. Exhaust is dropped, the culling is down. Here comes the tidal wave. Prez looking to turn this one around. Here's the exhaust. Gordon Ramsay's here, slamming Talisman into the ground. Prez first one to fall. Talisman, will you drop? Stand United says no, sir. Double kill over to Talisman. He drops at the very end, but not before he's able to find the damage and make that trade a 2-for-1.
When your entire objective is to kill Talisman, sometimes you can get locked into that mentality. You've got one guy you want to kill, and so you do everything you can to kill that one guy, and you lose 2 people for their trouble, and the kill goes on to the worst person imaginable. That is a big coup for Never Clucky. These guys are now 4-1 against their opponents. IG has fed 3 kills to the Callista. That guy is going to be the monster that they need him to be. He's not going to be quite as beefy as he was last game, but nevertheless, he's coming through quite strong. Should be able to do just fine because none of his other lanes have fallen behind him. He's also the only death on his team, so all of his support champions, Shen through Nami, are going to be able to do exactly that and support him.
Callista sitting on 3-1-1. Blade of the Ruined King completed. Zeal in the inventory, likely turning that one into Runaan's Hurricane. And once that comes down, the damage is going to start to hit unreal levels. Talisman's still a threat, but he's still also staring down the barrel of Lissandra, Vi, Nautilus, Poppy. All this dive looking to take him out. As long as he's careful, as long as he's got that positioning, he might just be able to pull off the same miracle twice.
And he's been careful this game. He has done a very good job of not dying to a whole lot of aggro. I mean, I know if it was me, now, granted, I'm a garbage bot laner, or garbage laner in general, but if it were me and this much attention was being focused on me, and I was expected to carry on top of it, I mean, that's a huge amount of pressure and a huge amount of threat to deal with at the same time. He's juggling both and doing it well. I gotta say, I mean, I know we've been talking Talisman up this entire time. We've just been basically, you know, jerking the guy off, but he's fantastic. He's been doing really, really well this particular series and just pulling it out for his team.
Talisman now eating a little bit of damage, looking to turn it around. Still has to be careful, though. So much damage coming down from the culling. Going to be knocked up into the air. Won't be able to find that Ren kill onto Pres V2. He'll be dropped by Lord Merc. I talked last game about this, how this guy is able to find that save onto his allies. Now Nerv is here. Splash and Noided both as well. This might be the turnaround IG's looking for. The lockdown onto the Shen. You might be tanky, but how tanky are you at the end of the day, sir? Lord Merc, Prez, Splash, Noided, all of IG is here, and they are here to party. Never Frown and Holy Goose here in the mid lane, trying to push this one down against Gordon. That's going to be turret number 1, finally falling 18 minutes into this one. IG makes the out-rotation. IG makes the outplay. IG finds the shutdown onto that Callista and keeps Prez going. Lord Merc's heal timings are positively immaculate.
Talisman, just as we're talking about, the dude oversteps just a little. If you focus a bunch of pressure over and over bot lane, eventually it's gonna turn into something. And they do end up picking up a kill at a turret, but a turret gets answered back. So really, it is good that they got Talisman, but they only came out 1 kill ahead. They need more than that. They need to be able to do more than even up the gold here. They need to be able to take an advantage and prevent this Callista from scaling into the late game, this composition from scaling into the late game, and becoming just this dense ball of impossible tanks that you cannot get through on your way to that Callista.
Well, the nice part is, despite the fact that it is a dense ball of impossible tanks plus a Lulu, you've still got Vi. You've still got the Nautilus ultimate. You've still got these abilities that say, I'm pressing R on you, and you're not allowed to do anything about it until that R gets pressed. So there's always a way for them to find that engage onto Talisman. Now, the difficulty is making sure you're able to find the engage with the follow-up damage to actually bring him down through all that protection. Between Stand United and Wild Growth alone, Talisman's going to have so much effective HP, that burn is going to have to be a freaking wildfire to actually get rid of all that health and get rid of the guy before he's able to hop around and put down his DPS. That being said, the tools are there if IG is able to find the window to properly use them. The game is all tied up once again. Kill's still a little bit wonky, but in terms of gold, we're dead even.
And this is a full damage build Vi. He is going for the Black Cleaver off of a Warrior enchant. This guy is going to hit really, really hard, but if he goes in without the proper support, he's going to die in a heartbeat. Gordon Ramsay wants to be the glory guy, going in and killing Talisman, soloing people out and doing it just right, but whew, Angel going out.
Astronomical flash forward, looking to find the lockdown onto Angel, but the problem is Talisman always has that press R to save the support button. The power to suck that guy away, keep him safe, make it so your opponents can't initiate on him. That's going to be not only ult, but Summoner Spell blown from Splash, all for nothing. Meanwhile, Never Clucky's able to take that top tier 1.
But they don't have a whole lot of defense down here. This is just 3 people versus 5 on this tower. They cannot defend this, and if they try, they're going to lose members.
Gordon
Never
Ramsay
frown.
The backdrop looking to go deep onto Talisman. Stand United already jailed. They need to take this turret down. They can't fight on top of the thing. They're dashing in. He's able to find the taunt onto fully noted Spirit's Refuge, protecting these guys long enough to bring that top laner and jungler down. Both kills going onto Talisman, and disaster strikes for IG.
Never Frown misses his belly slam, but he gets a knockback into his team, and Talisman does the rest. Talisman and crew, I should say. I am not giving enough credit to his supports, who have been playing this very, very well.
Merc's able to get himself away with the power of the flash. Frown and the rest of Never Clucky going to respond and take down this tier 2. That's going to put him up 3 turrets compared to 2 overall in this game. 34,000 compared to 32,000 gold. Dragon is up and ready to go, and they'll take that one as their prize for outplaying their opponents, making them pay for that aggressive turret take. The turret was left at enough health for people to think, oh, it's going to go down, no worries, somebody else will do it. But it just didn't happen. Merc was trying to put the DPS onto the thing, but by the time they actually had it down, it was able to shoot people so many times in that fight that it was easily going to be Never Clucky's.
So, Never Clucky has been the absolute lords of the Hail Mary play. Hail Mary's a little unfair, but the clutch play. The situations where they should be at a disadvantage and they're coming out on top. That said, they're only 2k up. They're 1 tower and 2k gold up over their opponents. It is 2-6 IG to Never Clucky. Never Clucky, they don't have a massive gold advantage, but the way they've been playing, it doesn't take much of a gold advantage. IG is doing a much better job this game than last game. They're playing a little more aggressively, trying to use the tools they've got, but the peel back and teamwork by Never Clucky is just holding them at bay over and over and over again, and every single time IG tries to make a play, Never Clucky gets just a little bit more back for it.
And Never Clucky's keeping track of what IG's got, too. Notice the way they forced that fight, the way they decided they were going to go in. They knew Splash had no flash. They knew he had no ultimate because he wasted it trying to kill Angel, who was just immediately saved by Talisman. Without Lissandra's ultimate in the middle of the fight, her presence is reduced drastically. They saw that, they capitalized on it, and that's why they were able to find the turrets, the dragon, the kills, everything. That's why they're ahead. Now Splash looking to fight onto Holy Goose. Gordon Ramsay's here as well, but stand united every single time IG tries to make a play onto anybody. Nerb is there with that protection.
It seems like it's always off cooldown, doesn't it? Every single time a fight breaks out, Nerb is there with the ultimate. It's actually a fairly long cooldown, but he makes it seem like it isn't. 124 seconds, and he's back to top lane in time to stop Fully Noted from doing more than just a little bit of damage to this turret.
Fully Noted, doing whatever he can, but the problem is Poppy is not the fastest turret taker in the world. Of course, the Sheen will be doing some help for that one. Holy Goose gonna be slammed up into the wall by Gordon Ramsay, but a Squishy Fi is not able to survive for that much longer. Flashing over the wall won't do anything. He's gonna drop 7-2 now in favor of Never Clucky. Nerb and Fully Noted 1v1 here on the top side once more. Spirit's Refuge won't do a whole lot in that fight, as Noted wins out at least for the time being, but in a wet noodle fight, there really is no winner.
No, indeed. And what you have to remember, I love Vi. I think she's a great champion. I think she's dramatically underrated. But here's the problem. People who play Vi over and over again, they build Devourer and they build Warrior and shit. They want that damage. Oh, here they go into the boss.
Angel and Talisman trying to take this turret down. Splash comes in. He's got the TP, throws down the claw. Won't be able to find anything else. Fully Noted here as well. Gragas is not exactly the target you're looking to force the fight on. All 5 members of Clucky are nearby. Fully Noted, I don't know what you're doing that far forward, man. Has to flash himself away just to survive.
They do get the Callista ult for their trouble, as well as the Gragas. So, oh, excuse me, Gragas ult had already been used previously. Never mind. They do just get the Callista ult for that. Unfortunate for them, they are going to have to back off this turret. I said Never Clucky couldn't defend mid, but IG definitely cannot defend bot.
Absolutely not. There's no way, because fully noited, I don't know why he was chasing the Gragas so aggressively. That's not a target you're actually able to force the fight on. That's not a target that by slamming him into the wall, you're going to take a huge chunk of his health away and make it so he's not able to posture appropriately in the upcoming fight. All you're going to do slamming him into the wall is invite the rest of his team to collapse on you. They've got the manpower advantage. You're not going to force a fight like that that's actually going to work, and fully noited pays for it. He has to burn the flash, and the fact that he's so low forces the entirety of his team to fall back and give up their 4th turret of the game.
It's unfortunate for IG. They do still seem to be suffering a little bit from that not being on the same page on when to go in. Some of them step forward, and it seems to me that it's fully anointed. He steps forward, he wants to go ham, and his team is just not on the same page with him. They want to hang back, they want to wait for Never Clucky to overengage, and Never Clucky aren't overengaged. For the most part, there was that one time down bot lane where they caught Talisman out and gave him his 2nd death, but that has been the only time that Never Clucky has stepped out too far, and it was only just a little bit too far.
Vi just slaughtering these penguins here in the top part of the map. I don't know why they were all in the same spot, but those poor little suckers just got massacred. Fully noited, still looking to push up here on the top side, but once again, not able to do anything. The wet noodle fight, everybody's a tank, everybody just sits here and clears with Sunfire Capes and Iceborne Gauntlets, results in not a lot of damage being done to turrets. And even if Fully tries to pressure onto Nairb and actually hurt him while he clears these away, it's not going to be enough damage to really do anything. Gordon Ramsay's up here, Never Frown's going to show up as well, Angel nearby, and Gordon does not have the health to make these fights work out too well if he tries to frontline for that long. Frown's going to knock him away, not exactly the direction he's looking for. Holy Goose going to show up here, Fully noited in some trouble once more. He's tanky, but he's not tanky enough to survive this onslaught for that long. The shield comes down, keeping him protected for the time being. Present Fully, both still in a whole lot of trouble though. Nairb looking to get into this action. Talisman's off to the side. He's not where he needs to be. Fully noted about to be brought down. Prez about to go as well. Wild growth onto Frown under the turret means he's able to soak this damage for years and years and years. Talisman drops off to the side, and despite the fact that Never Clucky has been able to find 2, they've lost their big damage dealer. Splash still nearby, looking to clean these guys up. Nairb is low. Frown might be ready to fight. Wild Growth is not here. Merc looking to flash backwards. Can IG make this fight happen? Piercing Light's coming down. Gordon Ramsay going to be the next one to fall. Lord Merc about to go. There's the barrel. There's the kill. Flash, the last one standing. Tries to use Zonia's. That's a real nice statue to have for your funeral, sir. Ace, Never Clucky.
If you don't have Talisman and you can still win the fights, that's terrifying for IG. Never Clucky are such a ball of death. They have so many heals, so many shields, so much CC and so much AoE damage. The burn coming off of this Shen is just so dramatic. He has opted for the Raptor's Cloak. We know what that's going to turn into. The push pressure is going to be down for these guys. They aren't going to take it away as cleanly as last game, but if this keeps up, Never Clucky have this in the bag.
Never Clucky, despite the fact this game looked like it might have been going at least in IG's way, or if nothing else, break even. In the early game, Never Clucky, once the mid game rolled around, just started making better decisions. They started punishing IG, and IG is just slowly losing control of this one. They're losing their grip on the game, and subsequently, they're losing their grip on chances at the playoffs.
There's no faith in IG. That's the fundamental difference. Both teams are trying to make moves. Both teams are doing really pretty decent rotations. But IG does not have the faith. Everyone on Never Clucky knows that they are going to win this. That's what they're playing like, and it's making it so. Belief is making it a reality because they play together. They play smart, and they have faith in each other. Whereas IG's a little bit scattered. They go in 2s and 3s, and they slowly get picked off by this team that's much more, not necessarily coordinated, but all on the same side, all on the same page, and ready to go in together.
I'd say that applies as coordinated.
Well, IG is actually not that bad at rotating around the map together. It's just that when they do get there, they're a little bit off step when it comes to the actual going in or the actual pulling back. That last second instinct move that all relies not on calls, but on how people feel like the rest of their team's going to do, that's where they're falling off. That's where they're having their mistakes made.
Fully Noited's trying to just clear waves here in the bottom half of the map. Despite the fact this game is 12-3 overall, IG's still down 4,000 gold at 30 minutes. That's not game-breaking. That's not unrecoverable. That's not something that you're going to have to just hope and pray that your opponents mess up at this point. IG can still win fights. The problem is, Never Clucky's not allowing them the opportunity to do so, and IG's sort of shutting themselves down by just not having the proper focus, not being where they need to be. Yeah, you killed Talisman, but you already lost 2 of your guys by the time that happens, so now you're staring down the barrel of a 4v3 that you just can't win after the fact.
And they only got Talisman because he had no help. He was all alone by himself, and he still put down a fair amount of damage before he dropped. If his team had been there with him with the peels, with the heals, with the shields, it would have been a much different story. They died for the kills instead, and it all worked out just fine. But still, if they do get a fight with Talisman, again, they need to be with him. They can't just let him be out on his own. Never Clucky. It did work out for them, for sure, and they had all of that down, but they can't get overconfident and let Talisman go off on his own, because this is a Talisman comp, even if they're doing well without it.
Both top laners in the bot lane, both with teleport ready to go, stand united, also able to be channeled at a moment's notice. 4v4 looking to show up here topside, Never frown in the brush, ready to find that explosive cask should the opportunity afford itself, and he can go for almost anybody he wants.
Barrel down. Wine cask in this case, wine bottle.
Splastronomical trying to clear those waves away, but the problem is you get too close, you're going to start eating spears. Talisman 5-3-1, QSS completed, Hurricane, Blade of the Ruined King, working on that armor penetration as well. Prez tries to go in, but I don't know what exactly the plan was there. Rest of the team isn't nearby, and he's going to drop for free, and that's going to be the end of this defense for the Tier 2. There's no way they're going to hold it.
The frustration and the tilt has made itself known. Prez gets a little bit antsy, and he goes down in a blaze of bloody death. That was just a brutal execution. Not even a moment for his team to get in there and help him. This isn't a team you'd expect to see a lot of burst damage on coming out from Never Clucky. I mean, it's a Shen, a Gragas, a Lulu, and a Nami around a Callisto, who you think of as more of a sustained damage champion. But Prez V2, who's on Nautilus, which is, relatively speaking, a tanky champion, dies in a couple of heartbeats.
Nerben fully 1v1ing once again in the bot lane. This thing's not even worth commenting on. We could let them fight for 3 minutes straight and neither one of them would die. Looking back towards the mid lane, seeing what's happening over there, I actually realized something when I decided to check the scoreboard. Nobody on Never Clucky has died except for Talisman.
Right? They've got down the part where they kill Talisman. They just, IG hasn't quite managed to make that turn into other people dying.
Fights breaking out. Holy Goose able to find the kill onto Gordon Ramsay. Not where he needs to be. Chef's dead for 45 seconds, and that's 45 more seconds of Never Clucky push time.
This is it. I mean, Never Clucky, they have had an advantage all game, but IG has just kind of given up. They're throwing their lives away in situations where there's no reason for them to do that. And to be fair, I wouldn't know what to do if I was them. They've built a team. They had an objective, kill Talisman. They did that. It didn't work. Well, what do you do next? You drafted your entire comp around that idea. If that's all you've got and it doesn't work, where do you go to next?
Culling comes out, trying to clear these guys away, but it looks like they're going to look to try to go in anyway. Flash tries to throw the claw in, won't do anything off the back of it. Fully noted, forced to flash away once more. Prez can't find the anchor down on the Talisman. Wild Growth already dropped, and here comes the fight. Prez about to melt away immediately. Fully noted, tries to get himself back in there. Flash with a beautiful 5-man ultimate, trying to get himself down, trying to put the damage. All he's going to find is a whole lot of lockdown and a whole lot of death. He's using the zonies to stay alive, but 2.5 seconds is only 2.5 seconds at the end of the day. Splash goes down, nobody from Clucky in the grave just yet. They're going to find a great flash taunt onto Merc. He's the next one to fall. Prez V2 very, very low. Can they send him down? Answer's going to be no for the time being, but Never Clucky doesn't care about champions. It's all about the Nexus, and the first turret has fallen. Turret number 2 is going to be the next one to go if they're able to find it. Fully noted, taunted up. Here comes the bubble. He's going to be juggling around lockdown so very effectively. He walks himself away, but the safety of the fountain is something the Nexus will never know. It's going to drop 33 minutes in, and ladies and gentlemen, Never Clucky are your first House Party 5v5 finalists for this season.
Just perfect play by Never Clucky. These guys didn't necessarily at any one point make a huge flashy play that was going to win them the game, but over and over, the consistency, the ability to execute on their plan, defend Talisman, funnel him kills, execute through the mid game, push down objectives, and eventually frustrate your opponent into suicide diving you, and then take all of their objectives, their inhibitors, and their Nexus. very nicely done off of the back of some of the most incredible Callista play I've ever seen.
GG well played to both teams involved. IG put up a hell of a fight this season. They got all the way to top 4, but now their journey's come to an end. Never Clucky, on the other hand, we will be seeing 2 weeks from today for the grand final match. Who are they going to be playing against, you ask? That is an absolutely wonderful question, one that I don't quite have the answer for you quite yet. However, coming up next, we're going to determine just that. And I don't mean immediately next, sadly. We actually have about an hour of downtime because of the fact that we schedule these as best of 3s. We have to slate 3 hours away in case we do go to the game 3. Because we only had the first 2 games, that means we're going to be taking about a 1-hour break before the next game starts. So feel free to go off, do whatever you want to do, go lose a game of solo queue, get yourself some popcorn, take a nap, do whatever you need to do to get in the mood for some more good League of Legends, because we've got White Lightning versus the Space Age Wizards. That's team number 4 versus team number 1 in the standings right now. That's going to be starting at 6 p.m. Central, another best of 3, and the winner of that one is going to be the other grand finalist playing 2 weeks from today to find out who's going to be champion of House Party 5v5's Premier League. That's going to be all the casting I'm doing personally for today, so I'd like to extend a thank you to everybody who tuned in. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. I hope we'll see you again for the next best of 3 coming up later today. I hope I'll see you again 2 weeks from now for that grand final, and I hope I'll see you again tomorrow, because that's when we're starting playoffs for Minor League as well. Same time, same place. Thank you guys once again. My name's Captain Flowers. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll catch you next time.